Hi there, this is Karen with InspiredByGram.com. Welcome to my channel. As promised, I was planned on bringing you at least one craft fair video a month. It's a tutorial, and I have had a little bit of time where I could decorate my notebooks here. So that's what we're going to do today. We'll be decorating these notebooks. I'll go over some examples that I've shown at the very end of the video, and also my pricing as well. So let's go over the products that I've chosen to work with today and that you might want to give a try as well. I'm using the Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper, which is in the mini catalog, the 2021, and it runs from January to June of 2021. It can be found on page 33 of the mini catalog. And the dies that I'm going to be using, you guys have seen me use quite a bit in a lot of my videos. I always like to buy sentiment labels that I know I'll use, and I get the best bang for my buck. So I really like the tasteful labels because they do layer nicely together, as you'll see in some of the examples of the notebooks that I've decorated for you guys. So what I want to say about paper and selling. So I believe 100% that paper sells. So most craft fairs that I go to and attend, my customers are female, so I try to select paper that is beautiful, mostly floral, and pleasing to the eye. And as you can see with the Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper, it's all of those things and more. So we're going to be using this pattern right here to decorate one of the notebooks. All right, so to take a look at the notebooks here, they're very simple notebooks. They're kind of like a journaling notebook. So I did select something different than like your really inexpensive little scrap, like, I don't know, the ones that you can find at Walmart. I found these on Amazon, and they have like these little icons here that show the weather, Monday through Sunday. Over here, they've got the date and the number, so like an entry number. So these are called Zlor 12-pack soft cover notebooks. Again, I found them on Amazon. They're $29.99 as of today, which is March 11th. And if you divide that all out, I know that my price point is $2.50 plus the cardstock and designer series paper that I add to it. So that's one thing you need to factor in when you price your craft fair items, is really how much it's all going to cost. And so we're going to be using, well, in this project I used 3 different stamp sets. I chose sentiments that are really kind of like positive, and the best things that best sentiments that my customers like to choose from. So I chose Ridiculously Awesome. All of these will work on any kind of notebook or journaling. And then Happy Thoughts. This one is the Ridiculously Awesome one can be found in the annual catalog, and the next 2 can be also found in the mini catalog. And Happy Thoughts is a new one. And then Dragonfly Garden, I love this one here, You Are an Inspiration. And all 3 of these are cling stamp sets, red rubber. As you can see on the back side, I just have them mounted on my case. All right, so let's get started kind of assembling everything. We'll go over all the paper that I've chosen, and you'll see what I mean about paper. It does sell. So the card stock that I'm using as the bottom layer is Native Navy, and it's a simple 5x8 cut, which is going to go right on top of there. And then the Fine Art Floral paper, this is gorgeous. It's cut just 1/4 inch smaller, so it's 4 3/4 by 7 3/4. So I'm just going to bring in my silicone craft sheet here, and we'll just run our adhesive on all 4 sides. So now when I'm running the adhesive, I want to try to get to as close to the edge of the paper as possible. Stampin' Seal is extremely sticky, so you don't really have to worry about the paper falling off over time because it is going to stay put for a while. And then since this is a larger piece of designer series paper, I'm just going to add about 3 kind of what do I want to say? Just lines of adhesive. So I'm just going to layer this right down on top of that native navy, and we'll just make sure you give it a good press so we know it's really stuck. So that's what this looks like. It's just gorgeous, like I had mentioned. And then we're just going to add the adhesive again alongside the edge. I kind of try to go slow as possible just so I can get to the edge as best I can. But I don't really have to worry too much because this adhesive is super, super sticky. All right, so let's open up our journal or notebook. Just make sure that the titling is on the top. We don't want to put this on upside down. And then I'm just gonna simply layer this. I gotta stand up so I can see this a little bit better. I'm just going to layer this right on top of the notebook here. And then we'll give it a good press. Now, if you really want to make sure that you've got it stuck down, you can just take your bone folder. I like to do this a lot just to make sure it's got a really good seal. Okay, so that's probably pretty good. And then here are the dies. And you'll see how these all layer nicely. So this is Native Navy, and this is So Saffron. And then we're gonna layer that one just like this. And now here's the white one here that I'm gonna stamp. And I'm gonna stamp P.S. I love you. And I've got the Native Navy ink. Again, our products coordinate really nicely together. And I'm just going to ink this up. And I'm gonna stamp right over top of that little label, that die cut. And you also have to be careful when you do die cut, and I know you probably won't be able to see this, but around the edge here, there is an etching. So you want to make sure that you're stamping on the correct side. And I'm going to close it up so I don't put my fingers in it. And then actually one other step I did forget is this strip here, and I like to kind of break it up. But sometimes you have to be careful as to where you're going to place the cardstock, so in the little panel. So I'm just going to add these two pieces together. This is Native Navy, and it's cut 1 1/4 inches by 4 3/4. I'm running 2 lines of adhesive along the designer series paper, which is cut 1 inch by 4 3/4. All right, so now I'm gonna take this and I'm just kind of look where I want to put it, because this paper is so beautiful, we don't want to cover up too much of it. So I'm just gonna kind of place these things around and just see where I want to put them. And this is kind of what it's gonna look like once I get it all done. I think it's gonna look better way down at the bottom versus up here. Okay, just because I love all this floral here, and I think offsetting it down at the bottom will look really nice. So we'll take our silicone craft sheet once again. I'm just gonna add this underneath my work surface. I like to use the Stamp and Seal, and I start off the edge to get that tape runner to start. And then again, I'm just going to add this kind of right down at the bottom so it's edge to edge right against the edge of that designer series paper. And then we're going to bring in this die cut. Again, it's got etching around the edge of it, so you want to make sure that's facing you. And then same with this one. The rough side is the side that we're going to run adhesive on. And then I'm just going to center this right over the die cut, just like that. And then I'm just going to take this one here, and we're going to add it right to the top. And now what I'm looking at before I give it a final press is that it's all centered around nicely at the top and the bottom and these two sides as well. I'm going to flip it over. I'm just going to press from the back side just in case I didn't, if I had any ink on my fingers, I wouldn't want that, or, just didn't want to have it smudged. All right, so we're just going to bring this right back in here so you can see. I'm going to add this right to the top. And then again, I'm just going to make sure it's centered. And And I'm looking at the corners here where they extend out, and I think that looks pretty good. We'll give that a good press. And then I always like to embellish my notebooks, not like too extravagant, just because people are going to be handling these a lot and you don't want to have a lot of different things poking out. So I'm just going to simply use the gold glittered enamel dots. These work really nicely with this paper, and you'll see on all the examples that I have 5 examples for you guys today using the other patterns from the Fine Art Floral. So most of them I kind of put the gilded, or the, not the gilded gems, the gold glitter enamel dots on the corners here. And then I'm going to just add a few more throughout the journal, just because we want to just make sure our eyes kind of travel around and make sure we just not focus on this sentiment label, we're focusing on other things as well. So adding the you know, enamel dots or some pearls or rhinestones will kind of really help you out. And also I like to use, you know me, odd numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't think, let's go 7, because I want to put, this is a much larger section, so I'm just going to, let's add one right on that little flower, and then I'm going to add one right over here. Okay, the final step is I always like to add my information to my journals or notebooks or what have you, so they have my name and they have all my information. So I'm going to add this label right on the inside so people know how to connect with me, and if they need a special order, they have my information. This is just a Avery label. I use Avery labels, or averylabels.com or avery.com, and then you can pick out there's thousands and thousands of different templates that you can get and use for free. So that's where I get that. I have the Stampin' Up copyright logo here because we want to abide by the Angel policy. Since I'm using their products, it's copyrighted, so I'm adding that, and that protects me and abides by the Angel policy. All right, so that is my tutorial. I do have one in a cello bag that I'll show you how I kind of package them as well. So there's this one here. This is the one we kind of started with in the beginning. And then let me just show you the rest of them here. You Are My Sunshine is from Ridiculously Awesome. And this piece here is kind of cut differently just because this is the only piece of this pattern that I had from the paper pack that was left, so I kind of made do with what I had, and it was very simple. I just used one side of a different pattern in the paper, and then I added this one here. Mossy Meadow is the cardstock that I used in this pattern here. This one here uses Old Olive and Rich Raspberry, which are the colors in the pattern paper in there. And then this one's super pretty as well. You can see lots of blues and Poppy Parade as well. So just beautiful, and you can see how I layered up those Tasteful Label dies. This one here I actually used the stitched rectangle on, but I also did use the other dies as well, just because this sentiment is super long and it would not fit any of the Tasteful Label dies, so I just used the stitched rectangles. You could also just cut a piece of white cardstock too and stamp it as well. And then here is how I package them. This might be glaring on your side, but I put them in a cello bag. I always include a pen because you need a pen to write in a notebook, and I just think that's a really nice added touch. And then on the back side, you can kind of see. I did not have a perfect cello bag to put these in. I've got to purchase some, but I just kind of wanted to give you an idea how I do package up my journals and notebooks and other products that I do sell at craft fairs. Packaging makes a lot of difference, and plus this also protects my inventory from getting damaged, or also fingerprints, you know, dirty fingers or what have you. So I will price these at $8 a piece, or 2 for $15. I feel that's a very reasonable price. These are really nice. These are my nicest notebooks. that I'll probably offer this year in 2021. And hopefully this year we'll have some craft fairs so we can sell products. So I hope I inspired you to make these as well. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can leave me a comment in the comment section. I do answer any questions that you might have. And if you would like to purchase any of the products from me that are Stampin' Up, I would really appreciate your support. It helps me bring you more and more videos every week. And you can find me at inspiredbygram.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.